every single year, these companies are like, hey, we got these recruiters and you're going to be at every whatever health fair and the student conclave and all this stuff.
Let's start off with a little confidence. Gotta say it, as Kevin Hart would say it with your chest. You got to mean it. Essentially, you drop something in the chat that your new PT, Andrew Wolfhammer, I know it's not that, but that does sound like if he were on the Game of Thrones, Wolfhammer would be great. He's already selling care packages. Tony asked why this new person was doing so better, different. Something is an anomaly. We ask why. The answer isn't credentials. Maybe it wasn't even experience or technique. You think the answer is what, Dave? Why is this person doing something differently?
Yes. Also, as a hook, why am I currently eating raw eggs, and how you can leverage what maybe influenced me with your content for your physical therapy business. That is another topic for later today. In terms of the treatment packages, yeah, Andrew so Thursday in 2 days will be his 60th day. We've never had a therapist sell this many treatment packages in 60 days. He's doing exceptional. He transitioned from doing home visits, Medicare Part B home visits in New York City and Manhattan for the past 4 years. The 2 previous years was outpatient orthopedics, also in Manhattan. So first 2 years out of school, brick and mortar clinic, practice, ortho, busy clinic, all that. He didn't like that, so he left, wanted to do the home visits. Spent the next 6 years doing home visits in Manhattan itself. I think that is one of the main parts in terms of his confidence and experience in just going to people's homes, talking with different folks, having that whole one-on-one interaction, as opposed to some of my previous therapists, including the more recent one that had exited, that was not from here, not from the U.S. originally. English was their second language, and coming into Manhattan, I think, is kind of probably if you're coming from anywhere else, I mean, if you're coming from Jersey or PA or anywhere, I mean,
I have friends from all over who are like, I come to New York, they're like, I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, it's different, man.
It's a different beast.
Gravity is different in New York City.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we can riff and go into it, but I also like there's some things that like this therapist had already had in terms of confidence, experience, and then I think I had a way better planned and executed onboarding approach for this new therapist. Although, and we did a lot more sales role play in the last 60 days where we do it in person or we do it on a Zoom call and we go through, scripts and we take turns. Like, he's the fake patient, I'm the therapist, and then I'm the patient and he's the therapist. And we basically know, we see on the screen or we have in front of us, like, I want to think about it. It's a lot of money. I want to use my insurance. I don't have money. I got to speak to my spouse. I got to sleep on it. That's out of my budget. All the things that we hear in cash practices. So he's got so many reps in the last 60 days. With that, like we basically are training our therapists to, like, you have to expect that people are going to be surprised. Although I'm trying to improve the whole process where, like, if Jimmy's my new patient, I want you to know what the cost approximately will be if you want to move forward and decide with us. But we always say, like, either the first visit we've tested, either the first visit is complimentary or the first visit is paid, doesn't matter. But either way, it's like, just do this one visit. Don't even think about, like, past that, because you can't even make an informed decision or a financial decision about fixing your chronic low back pain that might take 10, 15 visits unless you experience the value first, if that makes sense.
Sure. Because just the term physical therapy doesn't say a whole lot. How are you supposed to know what that means? Because it could mean so many different things to so many different people. It does.
Right.
It's wild.
Right. Yeah. So I put that in the chat for you guys, a screenshot of our text message, because he had sold a $3,600 package yesterday, and I was super pumped. And, like, those are the things that, like, I can't always put even on my stories anymore, because I have, like, prospective patients looking at our stories, physicians. Like,
wouldn't that help? Because wouldn't that be like sort of doing what you just said, sort of seeding what you should expect? You're raising the floor, essentially.
I mean, maybe I should. I mean, if you were a prospective patient of the place nearby, you have a friend that has a practice nearby. But if they were posting that their therapist having insert, It's not a turnoff. It's not bad taste.
Oh no, I don't know. I don't know if it's a turnoff, but I don't know if does it move the narrative forward? Because you want to talk about the outcome, not the cost. I have no problem talking about the cost when you ask me about it or when I look for it. Yeah, so I agree with you. Yeah, I don't know if that's the thing. I think sharing is someone just like car dealers are good at that. Like they're like, hey, they have like a sign at their dealership, new owner, and then it's like Karen and Carl are outside next to their new minivan. They're like, or like real estate agents are good about that.
I have a good anonymous story that I think would be better to describe this story, which is we have a client. They're super busy. They're a little bit older, but they're active. Had a knee replacement. Had in-home physical therapy in Manhattan. He didn't want to badmouth the company. I don't want to badmouth this other company. I don't know this other company, but long story short, he was getting home visits and they were covered through either his commercial insurance or Medicare Part B or whatever. With us, he self-pay. But this client uses insurance and had 2 PTs from this covered practice to do home physical therapy after his knee replacement.
Got it.
They did 0 manual therapy after a knee replacement. A knee replacement that was stiff, that needed mobilization and all that. What's that?
Unstiffing, need some movement.
Typically, I mean, any outpatient PT that's watching or listening, they're typically going to do some manual therapy for anyone after knee replacement. This home practice did 0 manual therapy. So he splits time between New York and Florida. He went to Florida. He found what sounded like a similar therapist to us, like hands-on, comprehensive, all that. I spoke to the therapist. He was like minus 30 degrees away from full extension. So he was lacking significant extension, pain with walking, pain with everything. That therapist in Florida did a whole bunch of manual therapy 5 days in a row only because this client is so busy. But in those 5 days, he felt so much better and looser and all that. So then this client goes from Florida, comes back to New York City, is not going to continue with the other physical therapy place, even though it was covered, because they're just like, hey, all right, do this exercise, do this, do that, bend it, straighten it, bend it, whatever, lift it, whatever, just bend it and then move it. So he felt what hands-on care or different care felt like in Florida. He comes back to New York City. He finds us on the Google machine. And my therapist goes yesterday, and I already told him all this because we do a comprehensive intake of what you liked, what you didn't like it, what do you think helped, what didn't help, whatever, at your previous experiences. And obviously that was his main part of hands-on care. My therapist does 1 visit with him and sells a package for $3,600, which comes out to like $300 a visit, paid up front, which is juicy. But the thing is we're providing what he's looking for. And in the next 12 visits or 8 or 10 or whatever we do, like it's going to be completely focused on loosening up that knee, getting him walking and moving better. But at the end of the very first visit yesterday, he was already saying how much looser and better he felt and confident and hopeful and all that. And so those are the things that we need to highlight with future videos and content and all that, as opposed to a screenshot of like my therapist saying, hey, I just sold a package.
Yeah. Oh, agree. Or do you start a shell company that provides crappy care? That is a great setup for your real company. Do you know what I mean? Like if you got a crappy restaurant.
There are enough of these companies already.
No, you're like, you have a crappy restaurant that's like no seats and the food's bad or whatever. And then next door, you're like, we have some openings. We're really good, but we're expensive. And you're like, at this point, I'll take anything. So what you're saying is there's confidence, repetition, doing the thing over and over again makes you a better person at doing the thing.
Right.
And that's good. And sounds like he likes it. Like you can't make someone who like is sort of into it. That's not how that works. Right? I've said this before. This was something a boss taught me. You can't teach give a shit. If you give a shit, I can make you better. Right? But if you don't, I'll take, what is it? I'll take the C+ skill with A+ effort rather than the A+ skill with the C+ effort. I can't do anything with C+ effort. We can't. Right. So this is good.
And I definitely have had in the past 2 years, I have definitely had therapists that are on a spectrum of how much they give how much effort or how much they care. And my current therapist, Andrew, is stellar. I mean, just amazing.
What's your long-term move? Do you try to create more? How do you use Andrew to create more Andrews?
Well, I mean, his second or third week, he had already offered to and he did. He introduced us to a therapist from his previous company that he thought would be a good fit.
That's the answer.
That's one thing. But this is the thing when you find A players, they do those things without even me asking.
Yeah. It's normal to them.
And A players want to be around other A players. So he's like, this other therapist I really liked, and I did some co-treating with them doing home visits, and they were really on point and prompt and reliable and all that. Hey, if we're going to co-treat it tomorrow at 10 a.m., like that other therapist is actually there and shows up on time and cares and all that.
This is why a phrase called is game recognizes game. Like, this is why that's a thing. It's like, you're like, why do I want to? I did a video about this last week when I did a series of videos about like how to flip healthcare recruiting upside down. And like, spoiler alert, the answer was not spend more on ads or create content about it. It was change the actual setup or how you're explaining your job. And it's like, if you're a hustler, like, you don't want to be around other people who are like dragging, because then you're like, why is this acceptable? The first people to leave or to stop trying or showing up are the A players, because they're like, you're allowing that B minus to happen. Well, then I'm not going to get why is that acceptable? And when the canary in the coal mine starts to drop dead in the cage, that's when you should start to get nervous. A players don't accept that. They shouldn't.
Right. So how else? I mean, we're continuing to work on getting him busier and keeping him busier. And I think in the next month or so, like when more of our Upper East Side folks come back from Florida from snowbirding, well, actually, there's a few on the Upper West Side as well, but there's a few more there that I treated maybe in the last year or two that would try to get on Andrew's calendar. So the long and the short of it for someone like him is to strive to provide golden handcuffs in a nice way, meaning he wants to make a lot more money. He wants to consistently make a lot more money, and for multiple reasons, like New York City is expensive, and if you want to raise a family, if you just want to progress in your career, you want to have build some wealth or whatever, like into your retirement, all that type of stuff, it takes money. And so a lot of my therapists, like, they're okay with that, they're comfortable with that, with speaking about it. And so my goal is I want him to be the highest paid staff physical therapist in New York City. If that happens, I don't think, like, where else are you going to go? Like, everywhere else would then be paying you less and having to treat more patients and more notes. So it's like, I want to continue to raise the bar for therapists like that. It'll continue to attract other therapists like that. Good morning, Will saying, always love hearing the behind the scenes of Dave's practice. Thanks for being so open, Dave. Will, you're welcome. Thank you for commenting live.
We only talk about these in the comment section. You know what I mean? I don't think that's enough. Because like, people need to hear, like, I don't know. It sounds like sound bites if someone's just dropping comments. But when we talk about it, we go a little deeper. We say, why? Or how'd you do that? Or did it really work like that? Or what was the order? It's just a little bit deeper. Well, we'll get into that in a second. He's asking me, and I have news for you too. This happened yesterday. I got something, but I wanted to make sure we were doing this before I moved on. So it sounds like, if you like, why does Aaron Judge make so much money? It's like, because he brings in a lot of money. Do you know what I mean?
He performs.
Right. And he brings in eyes and money. Eyes first, then money. That's how it works. Like, attention breeds money. That's and performance. Like, his performance brings the eyes. His milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
And not only does he hit for power and slugging and average and gets on base, but also yesterday he's got the cannon from right field. And if you got two out single and you think you're going to go first at third, he's going to throw you out at third. He's going to gun you out. So he can catch balls in the outfield. He does it all, and he's reliable. Those are the therapists we want.
He can catch balls in the outfield because he is larger than the outfield. Like, he can catch line drives over the fence. Tom Emanski is somewhere like just smiling ear to ear. Remember Tom Emanski, the defensive was in the 90s? Did you watch Aaron Judge when he threw that guy out at third? He didn't even look panicked. He did everything in order. He didn't rush. Aaron Judge could throw the ball through a human being, I think, at this point. He didn't do that. He threw a dart on a line and hit the guy in the chest 3 steps before the poor guy got to third base. But yeah, he did everything right. You do that over and over again, you have money. But figure out what statistics actually get people to pay attention. Showing up on time, being able to sell something, being consistent. Letters after your name are not it. Imagine Aaron Judge kept going to camps in the offseason, had lots of letters, and he was like, I should negotiate my contract because I have letters. Did it show up on the field? No. That's nice then. Pick different courses. I don't know what to tell you. I like this parallel. I didn't see this coming, but yes, Aaron Judge.
No, this is all on the fly.
All right. The second thing I wanted to talk about was a graphic I'm going to put on screen right now, but I'll walk you through it. This caused a little ruckus, and it's funny to watch the different social platforms that I put the same graphic on cause different reactions. People on LinkedIn were like pretty pro. People on Facebook were pretty pro, but then some people got crabby, I think. So this was the graphic. I took the nutrition label from food packaging, which is everywhere, right? Nutrition facts, serving size, calories, recommended daily allowances. And I played with it, and I was like, the premise was essentially, why do I go to an Indeed job posting and it's like competitive salary? Like, would that ever fly with the Food and Drug Administration for like how much sugar's in a thing? No. But it's okay for you to put like competitive salary and be really, really vague and wish-washy about what the job's actually like. I gotta give it to some recruiters who write job descriptions. Someone bought them a thesaurus. They get real artsy. Work with a dedicated team. I have no notes. There's nothing on the screen. I am going from reading so many of these. Competitive pay. Great environment. But they don't say anything about the job. And then people were pushing back and going, is it all about the money? Yeah, not all about the money, but I need money to buy. What I love about this, Dave, is when someone says, is it all about the money? I go, no, most of it's about the food I need to eat, and that costs money. Any questions now?
No, I like to think of it as like, it's about half of it is about the money, because the other half is like what you do to make the money, the job role and responsibility.
Bingo. So anyway, I had some fun with it. I was like, hey, why isn't there just, and here's my point for this. I go, doesn't this just save, like I'm not even going to ask you if you agree, because you do this already. You don't do this, but I bet you would be like, oh, that's even easier. I'll do this. Doesn't this save time and money? Do you need 7 recruiters being vague, getting 100 people who kind of know what the job is, and if they want it, to 13 interviews to then have 7 people be like, that starting salary is $12,000 below what I'd even take. I would never have even bothered to double click my resume to send it to you. Had I known that, why can't you be more transparent? People on LinkedIn, super supportive. What were we going to say?
Let me answer that. There must be these bigger, like medium to larger companies that they might model it out behind the scenes that they're not, like point shaving. They're like shaving off of how much they would actually be offering.
Oh, I get it.
So that might be how they would justify having 7 or 10 or 12 recruiters, because you have to pay those recruiters like a salary as well. So if it's a practice that has 10 or more locations, and if you're in network respectfully and you take all insurances, I've heard therapists say this. Other therapists have said that this is how these bigger companies run. Basically, like, they focus on typically hiring new grads because they either don't know any better, they don't negotiate, they're in low position of negotiation. And these medium to larger companies know that every single year there's a new crop that's graduating, and they all need jobs, and they will they'll find some of them in that crop to fill these open roles. And then they'll keep some of these staff therapists for as long as they kind of want to stay, or they get priced out, or they don't tolerate it anymore. They don't want to, treat volume. or be in these busy clinics or get, held back with capped, compensation. So every single year, these companies are like, hey, we got these recruiters and you're going to be at every whatever health fair and the student conclave and all this stuff so they can get in front of more therapists. And obviously it works for them. Obviously they have spreadsheets around this. And obviously they know that there's X amount of therapists every year that are going to accept low salaries.
Nobody, I said, unless I am an idiot, like explain to me why this wouldn't help both sides. And no one could do that. On Facebook, if I were this is why it.
Oh yeah, no. If you have 10 or more locations, you don't want to make it public because you're already making more money by offering more therapists, and some therapists that accept 65, 70, 75, 78K, whatever. So every time they accept that, it's lower than the one that's on the screen. That's this hypothetical $82,000 salary. So every time that gets accepted behind the scenes, without a graphic like this, without a company advertising a public salary instead of even a range, and if it's a new grad, they're going to be at the dead bottom of that range, right? So the medium to larger clinics, they benefit from this whole ambiguity of this whole situation.
Somebody brought up that there is now law in several states that if you share a job that can be performed in that state, so let's say that it can be performed remotely, you have to share the salary. It has to be written out, like airline prices. It's just very confusing to me. If the bottomest line was going to turn someone off and be like, oh, I just can't do that. I will not be able to pay for food or rent. Why you wouldn't just weed that person out immediately? I'd rather do 5 really good potential interview calls than 15 and feel but I guess you're right. I guess it's I might be able to talk someone from the middle of the bell curve who's pretty okay into taking this. And there's this guy, Joel Legree on LinkedIn. He's a recruiter. That's his big thing. And he's he goes through these talks where he's oh, to the client, they were going to, the budget was 120, but I talked him into $100,000. Isn't that great? I saved you 20 grand. You got me a shittier candidate, or you got me a great candidate who needed the job and took it, but they deserved 120, but you saved them 20 grand for the company. The person should leave in 12 months. And this is a great business to be in if you're a recruiter. Cause you're just I don't know, a used car salesman. Even car salesmen start with a price. A lot of these jobs are competitive salary. Competitive with what? If it's so competitive, put it on the screen, let it compete. At least give me a range. Because if the range ain't ranging, I'm not sure. There's no.
I feel on LinkedIn or definitely Indeed, I think it's been a little better in the past couple of years with at least giving a range. No,
I'll do some deep dives because maybe I'm wrong. I think it's better, but I still don't think it's good because it was pretty awful there for a while, all over the place.
We don't need it. We don't.
Then some CEOs come back and they go, well, Jimmy, everything's more than salary. And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, there's benefits. And I said, great, put it on a label. That's it. Yeah. If you're saying it's more than the salary, I'm saying, then put it on a label.
I chuckled with this because down at the professional nutrients, the first one that says mentorship, and it says low. I laughed because obviously we're trying to do, significantly high mentorship and coaching and training and onboarding and all that. But I laughed at that. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. CEU allowance 1,000, clinical growth.
Even better. Respect from insurance companies. Trace amounts.
To generate this graphic, I just uploaded uploaded 3 job applications that were real in PT, and then I was create it from that. And guess the salary, because none of the 3 had the actual salary or the range.
Wow, that's hilarious.
Competitive though, Dave. It's competitive. What is this, Thunderdome? Are we in Gladiator now? We're in Gladiator now. I don't know. I think there should be. So anyway, on LinkedIn, everyone was like, hell yeah, bro. On Facebook, I got a lot of someone said to me, I won't even call them out because it's a good person. Because they were like, I'll get the exact quote. I'll give you the one I remember. Then we'll see exactly how close I was. They're like, is the person asking this question a business owner? Because if not, I don't value your opinion. All right.
Yikes.
All right. But the person asking this has filled out a job application. So I'm 50% of this little dance we're doing here.
Right.
And I'm telling you the market that you're trying to get to pay attention to your job application maybe isn't because you're being shady.
Right.
That's like saying I'm really open and honest. And then someone asks me a question and I go, book a call. It's competitive salary. What is it? Upload your resume and spend 27 minutes writing out this thing first. That's what car salesmen do. They say your presence is your power. Come into the dealership. I'm going to grind you down. We know exactly how car salesmen work. The recruiters are the same thing. Well, if you want to find great to buy used cars, then keep doing what used car salesmen do. If you want to find clinicians who are like, I know my worth. But I guess that's the thing. Maybe I'm answering my own question. They want to shop from the middle of the bell curve, so they'll do middle of the bell curve things. You want to draft first round draft picks. You act differently. I don't know. Like
100%. 100%. We talk about insurance. It's not paying more for a therapist that has 25 years of experience. It's paying the exact same thing per unit per visit that a new grad charges through their billable units or whatever. So they don't have to do the golden handcuffs. I have a whole different business model.
Right.
They're, and even you got to think of the whole patient experience, right? If someone's paying a $20 copay, or if they're going to outpatient PT or even mobile, Medicare Part B covering 80%, they have a supplemental that's covering the other 20%, and they're getting free physical therapy, whether it's conveniently in their home through Medicare or at a brick and mortar office nearby. And I don't care what anyone says watching or listening. The people that, even my parents that go through Medicare Part B for physical therapy or other services, of course they want respect and they want a fairly good experience, but they don't typically fully care about the experience, and they care, but there's less expectations. Let me just say it like that. There's less expectations as opposed to someone who is paying a package $3,600, someone who's paying $200, something $100 per visit somewhere across the country. That person has way higher expectations of their experience. They're expecting to feel incrementally better almost every single visit, and have, things sent to them or have all their questions answered. And it's a little bit more comprehensive because there's more dollars in the mix, as opposed to the traditional model, which is you take my insurance and whatever service we provide for you, like that's it. It's kind of like take it or leave it.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So I'll keep working on that. We'll never see this. Well, no, I wouldn't. So this wasn't me saying everybody should do this, because I'm smart enough to know that everybody won't. But I think the first large organization that doesn't have to do this, that does, wins. Because they become the no guarantee. They're like, there it is. There's the sticker. That's what it is. I don't know if I told you this. We used to have to hire weekend radio DJs. Finding someone who's like good on the air, like just from listeners, is not easy, right? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm good. Then you put it in front of a microphone, like, burr. And then I've got to like work with that person. And I'm not getting a lot out of it. I'm just getting 5 hours of airtime filled. So we ran a contest. Centerfold ad. Did I ever tell you this? Centerfold ad in the weekly newspaper. Full color. And the ad was the worst job description ever. You will make state minimum wage. You will work nights, weekends, and holidays. You will be last in line for free concert tickets or CDs. We painted the worst picture ever. We painted the real picture of what a weekend radio DJ was. I wanted if 1,000 people wanted that job, I wanted to weed them out with the words and first. And whatever 7 people were left, I'm like, it's Fight Club time. You really want it? Great. And we did a contest where they had to record themselves reading a script. It was funny. It was like Mad Libs. And then we brought them on the air for an hour. I made a contest out of hiring the lowest paid person. I needed give a shit. I was like, yes, I don't care how bad that sounds. That's still perfect for me because of the upside. Now flip that.
No, wait, your ad have anything that was cool or unique or different? Like you get to be
on our radio station. Ta-da.
There you go.
Yeah, this is us. You want to hang out with us? You start here. This is where we all started. Let's go. I was looking for a beginner with no experience, and I'm like, you start here. But I was very open. If I had run an ad, I was like, do you want to be a broadcaster? I would have got a million applications. By the way, it's $9.50 an hour. And everybody would have been like, what? And I would have wasted how many hours would I have just wasted? Like trying to convince someone to take that job. That job was hard and thankless. I needed to find someone who understood it. I led with transparency, but I made the weakness a strength. Good. So I got, 50 applicants. I brought 10 on the air. I wound up hiring 4.
Good. I was just about to ask how it performed, but so it sounded like it worked.
It became a recurring thing. Like parents would call me, they're like, my kid's at Penn State for broadcasting. When are you doing that contest again? Because he's going to be great. I'm like, hell, now they're asking me for the contest? Awesome.
Hey, it's Dave Kittle. Are you a healthcare business owner or physical therapy practice owner who is looking to figure out your succession plan or exit strategy? We might be able to help. And in fact, we may be interested in acquiring your practice. If you're interested, you can reach out to me. Shoot me an email at dave@conciergepainrelief.com. That's DAVE at CONCIERGE painrelief.com. Or you can call me at any time, 646-781-8884.